Asma, I'll start with you on Manchester City. 1 win in 10, 7 defeats in 10 at that time. We've been talking a lot on the midweeks and the Soccer Saturday about just sort of scratching our heads trying to work out what's going on. I wonder, inside the changing room of a Premier League rival, is there a lot of chat about City's sudden decline?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to know the reasons. I mean, we're not in that dressing room. We don't know exactly what's happening inside that football club. I think there's a lot of reasons you can look at. You know, some might say it's excuses, but of course, anytime you lose the Ballon d'Or winner out of any team, that helps. And we know how important Rodri is. We've seen the record with him and without him in that side. So I think that's difficult. Fixture congestion, a lot of games these players have played, a major tournament this summer. There's a hangover. These things happen. I think just the mental capacity of these players, physical capacity is being tested. And, you know, it's really difficult. And I think not many teams have done it before where they can go year after year after year after year. And I think what Man City have done so far is almost against the rules, against the grain, by winning 4 titles in a row. So I think it's all taken a toll on them. I think emotionally, physically, it's not easy for them. But I think what's incredible for me, Jules, is for how difficult it's been for Man City, especially for their standards, and how we're saying how Liverpool has been so unbelievable. They're only 9 points off. Right. Yeah. They win today, they're 6 points off. So I think that gives them a lot of hope in that dressing room, and the way they're programmed, the way they're driven, they're still in this thing. Yep. And I think it takes one good week can change a lot of things. I think the feeling, as we said earlier, losing is difficult for anyone to cope with, especially at the top. So, you know, they know they're just one good week away from, again, trying to change things around.
But it is, of course, such unfamiliar territory at the moment for Pep Guardiola. And, you know, taking its toll, we used that phrase before, it seems to be. And, you know, he's been speaking about he's struggling to sleep, he's struggling to eat, he's not really eating much in the evening because he's so agitated. I mean, we know that the life of a Premier League manager is a stressful, intense one, but it really seems to be eating away at him.
Yeah, even more. Yeah, because he's never been in this situation. He's probably his managerial career because he's the best manager there is out there, Pep, and he's always winning football matches. So he's probably scratching his head thinking, what's going on with my team at the moment? We're not producing how we are. And listen, I think they've just the team have gone to ridiculous levels, and at the moment we never thought we'd see this with Man City, but there is a blip, and there is players that are probably suffering with confidence, and people say, well, how can they suffer with confidence? Because players can go through a confidence crisis, and you think that at the moment, and Pep probably waking up every morning and thinking, how am I going to solve this solution? So that's probably why he's suffering at the moment, but I don't think he'll be suffering for long, Jules. I think they got a top manager. He's an outstanding manager. He gets the best out of his players, a lot of group of players, good quality players there. Asmir makes a great point. You lose Rodri, you lose a lot. There's a reason he's a Ballon d'Or winner. He is the best number 6 in the world. You see it when the fullbacks get forward, he sniffs out danger and sees the danger. At the moment, they don't have no one in midfield. They're trying players like Gundogan in there, young Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis is a much better fullback than he is when he goes into midfield, and they are missing. Kovacic is just coming back. I think he'll improve Man City because he's not Rodri, but what Kovacic is a very good footballer in that position. So I think they get their players back, City start climbing. Asmir made a great point. Don't rule out Man City. We've seen it many seasons before in the second half of the season where they go on a great run. I hope I don't rule that again because me and Jules have had some good battles about Man City.
I'm going to ask you about Erling Haaland in a moment.
Oh, come on. I knew that was coming.
There is, of course, a Rodri factor. Like you say, Ballon d'Or winner. Every team would miss him. But what about this idea that maybe all good things come to an end? This is a team that is getting older. A lot of midfielders, 30 plus, that maybe this is their time.
Yeah, this is their time. You know, I think it probably goes without saying there will be a reboot needed in certain ways. Of course, there's transitions. Squads change, players change, they come and go. I think this generation has been absolutely incredible. I think we saw Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp 2 or 3 years ago go through a very difficult season, and they changed a few things up and reinvest a lot of money and freshen that squad up. So these things do change, but I think their focus is still on this season, and they want to make sure that they still try and win some silverware. That's their expectation. Finish as high as they can. Maybe still get that Premier League. You just never know. So I think for them, there's definitely a lot of work to be done. New director of football coming in, a few changes behind the scenes, so I think there's a bit of transition definitely for Man City.
And on Erling Haaland, Clinton, I mean, listen, first of all, caveat what I'm going to ask you, 18 goals in 22 appearances, right? OK, we get that. But by his standards, he's had a lot of games when he hasn't been scoring. Is he suffering from the team's general malaise?
Yeah, he is suffering because he needs assists. Haaland's not going to be a Messi who picks the ball up in the halfway line, beats 3 or 4 and puts it in the top corner. He needs service into the box. You've seen the goals he scores. I think he's happy his mate's back, Kevin De Bruyne, because you know what Kevin De Bruyne is like when he can play those incisive passes. Because as soon as De Bruyne, they got an understanding, Haaland will get on his back. He's scored that much goals. Their second top goal scorer is Guardiola with 3 goals. So that goes to show me the likes of Grealish, the Foden, the Doku, the Gundogan, the Bernardo Silva. These are all top players, have to get their game to that level. And I like every single one of their players, but it can't just, because all of a sudden he hasn't scored for 3 or 4 goals, pile the pressure on Haaland. He's still got 18 goals. You said that's still a very good season. Some Premier League strikers would like to score that in one season, let alone now. And we're just coming up to Christmas. So he's been outstanding. I'll never be critical of Haaland. He's at different levels. But I understand what you're saying. He's gone a bit quiet, but he needs a service. Haaland does need a service. You give him the service, he's one of the best strikers around. I think other players have to start contributing. When that happens, there'll be a force again.
Asmi, you talk about the reboot at Manchester City. Who needs the bigger rebuild, City or Manchester United?
Oh yeah, no, I do think I think Man United would love to have Man City's problems. So I think there's definitely a lot that needs to happen. I'm sure that will happen. I mean, there's been a change in ownership. There's been a change behind the scenes in terms of the directors of the football club. There's obviously been a change of manager now. So. That means no doubt there's going to be a change of playing staff and the squad, and I think rightly so. I think one, because of the results. I think the expectations of Man United, where they are as a football club, but also I think the way the manager plays. I don't feel like it's a natural fit at this moment in time with the players that he has. I think you look at their squad, and you have players. I mean, I can think of Diallo, who plays full wing back. I don't think he's ever been a wing back. You look at Garnacho playing as a 10. He's a natural winger. So I think Amorim right now is trying to make the best of what he has and trying to get his points across and, of course, his principles. But I think as a natural fit for the squad, you have Gyökeres at Sporting and the way he likes to play with his number 9. So I think there's definitely change coming. That's inevitable. But I think still, in the meantime, they have to try and get results, and they'll have ambitions to get into European football and finish as high as they can.
Making the best of what he has is the phrase Asmi used.
Right.
How long do you think it will take before we see a real Ruben Amorim in Manchester United?
Oh, this will take time. This might take 2 or 3 transfer windows, and Man United fans might not like to hear that, but that's where they are at the moment. I've said it, should have got Amorim in at the start. At the season, you left Ten Hag there, and then now he's brought his players in, and then he's got to work with them. Ruben Amorim comes at the start, then he can buy his players and bring his players in. So that's the situation Man United find themselves in at the moment. Do I think they'll get back to good times? I do. I think he's a really good manager, but it will take time. I think Man United fans are clever enough to know it will take time. And you can see he's just trying different players at the moment. You see Højlund comes on in the week, gets 2 goals. Could he start today? Well, you think as a striker, when you've come off the bench and scored 2 goals, he might go with Xerxes. He's been doing that. But I think one player who I could say who's benefit is Ahmed Diallo. I think he's been brilliant. I think